What if the sound you're ignoring could be the very key to your awakening? In a world addicted to noise, there are rare frequencies, ancient, sacred vibrations that don't just soothe the mind, but unlock energetic portals buried within your nervous system. Carl Jung hinted at it. Beneath your thoughts, beneath your wounds, lies a coded system of energy and memory, activated not by force but by resonance. This article reveals the forgotten technology of sound, hidden knowledge that has been buried by modern systems and preserved only in whispers across ancient traditions. For centuries, sages from Egypt to Tibet knew that consciousness isn't limited to the brain. It travels, expands, and shifts through layers of spiritual planes, fueled by inner transformation and archetypal forces. Jung decoded these forces, the hero, the shadow, the self, not as myths, but as living energies within your psyche. When accessed through dream work, shadow integration, and vibrational tones, these archetypes awaken the soul's true power. And more than that, they become your guides beyond the veil of ordinary life. This isn't mysticism for mysticism's sake. This is a blueprint, grounded in psychology, ignited by ancient science and infused with the soul technology your body has always held. When you align your frequency with certain sounds, you activate spiritual technology within your nervous system, turning the body into a multi-dimensional antenna. What follows is not just healing, it's alchemical rebirth. You'll learn how dreamscapes, archetypes, and shadow work converge with forbidden wisdom to unlock sacred energy flow and dissolve the illusions that keep you asleep. Prepare to question everything, because once you understand where your consciousness goes during altered states, once you feel the sound that opens your inner gates, you'll never experience reality the same way again. And perhaps that's exactly what this world has tried to keep you from discovering. There is a realm you visit every single night yet barely remember, a landscape not bound by physics or time, where symbols speak louder than words, and every scene is a mirror of your deepest truths. This is the unconscious dreamscape, a sacred field where your soul wanders free while your body rests. Carl Jung called dreams the royal road to the unconscious, revealing forgotten truths and repressed energies that modern life tries to suppress. But what if the sounds you hear while you sleep could trigger doorways into this hidden world? Throughout history, ancient civilizations revered dreams not as fiction, but as portals. Egyptian priests believed dreams came from the gods. Tibetan monks trained for lifetimes to remain conscious within the dream, practicing what we now call lucid dreaming. Jung, standing at the crossroads of science and mysticism, decoded these ancient rituals through a psychological lens. Yet his findings echoed what the ancients knew. Dreams are maps and symbols are keys. Symbols like snakes, mirrors, and oceans are not random. They are codes stored in the soul's nervous system, vibrating at frequencies only dreams can unlock. In this domain, what appears irrational in waking life becomes profoundly coherent. Nightly visions offer clues about your forgotten past, your unspoken fears, and even your spiritual destiny. But you need to learn to listen, not just with your ears, but with your intuitive frequency. Many don't realize that even certain tones or frequencies, like ancient mantras or solfeggio sounds, can stimulate energetic portals in the body while you're dreaming, amplifying your connection to the astral plane and soul vibration. When the right sound meets the right symbol in a dream, you're no longer just resting, you're being initiated. Jung believed that without connection to the unconscious, a person becomes fragmented, cut off from the sacred energy flow within. But those who dare to explore these internal dimensions begin to recover suppressed wisdom and activate soul technology embedded within. And this is only the beginning, because once you decode your dreams, something even more potent emerges: the discovery of the archetypes that rule your inner world. Inside every human being, ancient blueprints shape the way we love, fight, heal, and transform. These aren't mere personality traits. Jung called them archetypes, primordial patterns that live deep within the collective unconscious, passed down through centuries like spiritual DNA. They don't just influence you, they guide you, push you, challenge you. Recognizing them is like turning on the lights in a room you've lived in your whole life, but never truly seen. Among the most powerful are the hero, the shadow, the anima and animus, and the self. The hero drives your will to evolve, to overcome failure and seek truth. The shadow, often misunderstood, holds the pieces you've rejected, your anger, pain, and suppressed desires, but also your lost power. The anima and animus embody your inner feminine and masculine energies, demanding harmony within. And the self, that's your sacred center, the fusion point of all parts. The gateway to inner alchemy and spiritual transformation. Each archetype vibrates at its own frequency, forming a spiritual technology inside you. They are not concepts, they are forces, capable of unlocking forgotten energy pathways within. The nervous system. Have you ever felt like something ancient within you woke up during a crisis or awakening moment? That was an archetype being activated. Carl Jung believed that recognizing and integrating these patterns was essential for individuation, the sacred process of becoming whole. It's how you move beyond societal roles and into your true multidimensional nature. The moment you begin to see these archetypes in your dreams, your relationships, your emotional triggers, you also begin to access hidden knowledge about yourself. What was once chaos becomes a coded map. What felt like sabotage becomes soul training. But there's one archetype that most people fear confronting, and yet it holds the greatest key to your liberation. It waits in the dark, whispering truths through nightmares and spiritual crises. And to meet it, you must begin the work. Few dare to do shadow work. There is a part of you that you've spent your whole life avoiding. It hides behind shame, guilt, jealousy, anger, and fear. Yet ironically, it also hides your deepest power. Jung named this the shadow, not as something evil, but as the repressed dimension of your psyche that you were taught to deny. It is the unspoken truth about your desires, your wounds, and even your light. What you reject, however, does not disappear. It waits, and the longer it's denied, the louder it demands to be seen. Shadow work is not about fixing yourself, it's about retrieving your lost self. Every moment of spiritual awakening, every moment you glimpse your own potential, the shadow is watching, waiting to be reintegrated. Why? Because your power isn't found only in light. It's in the fusion of light and darkness, in the honest confrontation with all that you've suppressed. Jung believed that by bringing the unconscious into consciousness, you prevent it from ruling your life from behind the scenes. This is vibrational control at its most profound. What many don't realize is that the nervous system carries energetic imprints of unresolved trauma and generational patterns. These act like energetic implants, distorting your frequency, attracting sabotage, blocking your spiritual growth. But once you begin facing the shadow, through dream interpretation, journaling, visualizations, or guided inner alchemy rituals, these distortions begin to clear. The soul's sacred energy flow is no longer trapped, it begins to move freely. You start to sense the forbidden spiritual knowledge encoded in your own pain. And here lies the paradox. The deeper you go into your darkness, the more radiant your transformation becomes. What once haunted you becomes your sacred fuel. This is the gateway to alchemical transformation, and no path leads to true spiritual liberation without it. But how did ancient traditions know this long before Jung? What secret teachings did? They hide inside myths, symbols, and mystery schools, teachings that can still be decoded today through archetypal rituals and universal codes. Long before psychology had a name, civilizations were already mapping the soul. The Egyptians engraved their mystical knowledge in hieroglyphs. The Vedic sages sang the truth in mantras. Hermetic masters hid sacred formulas in coded texts. Though separated by time and geography, these traditions shared a common belief. The human being is a multidimensional vessel, capable of spiritual awakening through alignment with cosmic laws. Carl Jung, through his deep study of mythology and symbolism, recognized the profound echoes between these ancient paths and the inner structures of the psyche. Each ancient teaching, be it the Emerald Tablet or the Upanishads, whispers truths about spiritual technology, not metaphorical but literal. These were systems of activating hidden knowledge, manipulating frequencies, and unlocking energy portals within the body. Symbols like the serpent, the tree of life, or the lotus were not just metaphors. They were universal codes, guiding the initiate through death and rebirth, energetic healing, and soul liberation. When Jung compared these with the dreams and visions of his patients, the patterns aligned with uncanny precision. It was no coincidence. What Jung intuited, and what secret societies have guarded for centuries, is that the unconscious is not just psychological, it is metaphysical. The levels of the spiritual plane, the dimension of the soul, and even the etheric body are all encoded within our inner archetypes and shadow patterns. By reconnecting with these forgotten teachings, one begins to perceive reality not as random but as symbolic. Every moment a message, every challenge an initiation. The universe becomes a mirror of your inner transformation. And here's the powerful truth. Many of these teachings were hidden or suppressed, not because they were false, but because they gave people too much power. To see beyond the veils of illusion, to manipulate your own energy frequency, to activate sacred energy flow without permission from any institution. This was dangerous knowledge, but it's knowledge that's returning, and those ready to receive it will walk a path the modern world has tried to erase. This leads us to the true work of transformation, inner alchemy. True transformation doesn't happen through willpower alone. It unfolds when you begin the sacred work of inner alchemy, the process of refining the raw, chaotic materials of your psyche into spiritual gold. Jung saw this process mirrored in ancient alchemical texts, where base metals were transmuted into gold through secretive stages. But the real message wasn't about metallurgy. It was about consciousness. The fire used to purify the soul is pain. The vessel is the body. And the laboratory? Your own nervous system, charged with energy, frequency, and emotion. When you learn to transmute fear into clarity, sorrow into wisdom, and resistance into flow, you begin accessing spiritual technology long forgotten. This isn't self-help, it's soul engineering. Practices like visualization, breathwork, sacred geometry meditations, and dream rituals were used by initiates to manipulate vibrational states within. These practices unlock portals within the body, specifically along the energetic centers where trauma, identity, and archetypal energy converge. When activated correctly, these centers unleash a sacred energy flow that reconfigures the psyche. What makes inner alchemy so powerful is that it respects both the divine and the wounded parts of the self. It doesn't reject the shadow. It transforms. It doesn't escape pain. It extracts the wisdom embedded in it. This is where metaphysical control becomes possible, not over others, but over the illusion that you were ever powerless. The individual who undergoes this process begins to operate from a higher frequency, resonating with divine resonance and attracting synchronicities that reflect their awakened soul vibration. And this is the threshold few dare to cross. Because true inner alchemy demands that you not only see the truth, but that you embody it. The path is sacred but not safe. It will ask everything of you and give back more than you imagined. But to even begin this journey, one must learn to unlock energetic portals within the body. And strangely, it all begins with a single sound, a vibration so ancient and precise that it awakens what lies dormant within you. Some vibrations are not meant to be heard by the ears, but by the soul. Across ancient temples, sacred chambers, and mystery schools, one principle was guarded above all others. Certain sounds can unlock hidden energy gates within the human body. These were not melodies but frequencies, vibrations so precise they could realign the nervous system, clear blocked meridians, and awaken dormant spiritual codes. Jung, though rooted in psychology, deeply understood the symbolic and physiological power of resonance. To him, sound was a psychic activator. One such example is the solfeggio frequencies, ancient tones rediscovered in sacred chants, capable of producing healing effects on the mind and body. The 528 Hz frequency, often called the miracle tone, is believed to repair DNA and raise the listener's vibrational state. But there are older, more esoteric tones, ones found etched in the stone walls of Sumerian temples or whispered in the inner sanctums of Egyptian priesthoods. These tones, when combined with intention and archetypal imagery, don't just heal, they initiate. The body, especially the nervous system, acts like a multidimensional antenna. When exposed to these specific frequencies, it begins to resonate with universal consciousness, harmonizing with energies beyond ordinary perception. Energetic implants begin to dissolve, suppressed emotions surface and release. The soul's sacred energy flow reactivates. It's not metaphorical, it's energetic, architecture responding to vibrational control. Those who undergo this activation often describe sensations of expansion, tingling, and visions from invisible realms. But here's what most don't realize. This awakening is just the entrance to a much deeper temple. The sound doesn't just open portals within, it tunes you to realities outside the known dimension, realities populated by symbolic truths, spirit guides, and veiled knowledge. To navigate these frequencies consciously, you must prepare the vessel, your body, your mind, your intent. And as the gates begin to open, a deeper question arises. Where does your consciousness go when these portals are active? Your nervous system is far more than a biological machine. It is a sacred instrument, finely tuned to receive and transmit spiritual information. While modern science studies it through neurons and synapses, ancient traditions viewed it as a conduit between dimensions capable of decoding signals from the metaphysical realm. Jung perceived this connection deeply. He recognized that when trauma distorts the system, it blocks our access to intuition, creativity, and archetypal truth. But when harmonized, the nervous system becomes a gateway to universal codes. Every emotion, memory, and suppressed wound leaves an energetic imprint on this system. These imprints function like invisible chains, limiting the natural flow of your soul vibration. Yet within these same pathways lies the potential for divine resonance. Practices like breath control, sound healing, and focused visualization begin to clear the distortion, allowing your system to realign with its original design, a design that reflects the multidimensional nature of your being. This is why ancient initiations always began with preparation of the vessel. The body had to be made ready to withstand high-frequency downloads. In Egyptian rituals, vibrational chants were paired with geometric symbols to stimulate the spine and awaken the inner serpent, what later traditions would call Kundalini. Jung didn't see this as superstition. He saw it as psychological truth encoded in myth, a roadmap to individuation and energetic liberation hidden in ancient language. And as this spiritual antenna becomes active, your perception begins to shift. Coincidences become synchronicities. Fear turns to clarity. You begin to receive not just thoughts but transmissions from deeper layers of consciousness, from the collective unconscious, even from entities or forces that exist beyond ordinary reality. But to travel beyond, you must ask, where is your consciousness actually going when the body is still? When the body sleeps or enters trance, consciousness doesn't simply fade, it travels. But to where? This mystery has stirred sages, mystics, and philosophers for millennia. Jung suggested that the psyche extends far beyond the personal, touching the collective unconscious, an immense field of archetypes, ancestral memories, and symbolic truths. Yet ancient teachings went even further. They described the spirit realm, layers of reality invisible to the physical eye but accessible through altered states, dreams, and energetic activation. These are not abstract ideas. Countless traditions speak of specific realms, the astral plane, the bardo, the akashic field, each one a dimension of the soul's journey. Jung's own experiences with active imagination and near-death visions revealed archetypal landscapes and spiritual initiators. In these states, consciousness encounters symbols that initiate transformation, beings that offer guidance, and tests that mirror inner challenges. The path isn't linear, it spirals, echoing the sacred geometry encoded in every layer of the cosmos. When one unlocks energetic portals within the body, especially through sound, breath, and shadow integration, consciousness begins to tune into these hidden layers of existence. Emotions become messages, archetypes become guides, frequencies become bridges. These aren't hallucinations. They are interactions with suppressed wisdom and the spiritual plane levels encoded in our multidimensional DNA. Reality bends. Time becomes fluid, and the illusion of separation starts to dissolve. This is where forbidden knowledge lives, not in books but in experience. Once you've crossed the veil, you can't unsee. Your intuition sharpens, your dreams become messages, your life aligns with purpose. The ancient ones knew this journey well, and Jung helped decode its language for the modern world. But the final key remains yours to claim, because this journey isn't about belief, it's about resonance. And the frequency you choose to embody will determine the world you awaken into. You've just stepped into a hidden map, one that Carl Jung spent his life tracing, and that ancient civilizations encoded into stone, ritual, and myth. This isn't about adding beliefs. It's about awakening what was always inside you. Through dreamscapes, archetypes, and shadow work, you've begun to glimpse the truth. You are not broken. You are encrypted. And the right sound, the right symbol, the right initiation can activate the frequency that dissolves every illusion you've ever carried. Your nervous system is not a passive system. It is a living spiritual instrument. Every energetic block, every suppressed emotion is waiting to be transmuted into fuel for transformation. The moment you accept this path, you no longer chase freedom, you become it. The ancient tones, the soul's vibration, and the archetypal journey aren't abstract. They are your blueprint. And now you hold the key to step beyond limitation and into true spiritual resonance. If this message stirred something deep within you, it's because part of your soul remembers. You've walked these paths before. In dreams, in lifetimes, in symbols you didn't yet understand. But now you're being called to remember, to awaken, and to take action. This is your initiation, and your life will never look the same once you begin. So subscribe to this channel and become part of a movement that's reclaiming the truth. Drop a comment below sharing what resonated most with you and what you now realize was hidden in plain sight. And don't forget, the next video on the screen might just reveal the next portal your soul is meant to walk through.